Be constantly shuffling stacks of papers, but never the first or last to leave a place. Happen. Fill your studio apartment with used books that you will not have time to read. In bars, insist on your intellect, always by the first round. Feign poverty, write in cursive, always arrive late. Paraphrase everything. Consume heavy amounts of caffeine, but drag in like a dead body. Speak in dense syntax. Find an endearing flaw. Now emphasize it. Carry a shoulder bag. Fill it with the following: manuscript, antidepressants, obscure books on navigation, mating habits, the Velvet Revolution, etc. Ambiguity creates depth. Exude this maxim, never mention it. Claim an absurd ritual. For example, I never miss a sunrise. Speak with unshakable confidence. Flirt with narcissism. Believe in humanism. Fall in love constantly. Find a clever vice. Dress in layers. And say things like, time is a construct of a dissatisfied mass. Be devoted to something, i.e. hedonism, location, forgiveness, fervor is key. Always you are on the verge of deconstructing. Be kissable. Never commit to anything. Always show up. Sound really weird in here. No. That sound weird?
Totally on key. It's the truth in society and in life. You have to show up and you have to be real. Understand where you're going and go there. Pay attention.
Exactly.
Focus. Make it happen.
All right, Mr. Poet, go ahead.
All right, this second poem is called dedicated to PBR. It's called Eclipsing Suns. All the cumulus clouds want to know if I've ever woken up satisfied in a stranger's bed. I tell them, the moon sits all day in my belly, like 100 pills promising we will not survive the things we do to each other. I want to plunge my head and ask, Mother, did dying hurt you? When too much has been said, dust gathers the edges of my mouth. This next one has an epigraph for a title. It's, if you want to make an apple pie from scratch, you must first create the universe, by Carl Sagan. This is a poem. This is the biggest thing in the world. This is your heart in letters. This is just picture making. This poem says, let's make love. Do you want to? This poem says, let's bake cakes. Do you know how? This poem speaks for all poems. Mouth's a dirty word. Because this is a poem about your mother, about you, a blunt in a back seat. This poem is round like summer. It's just like church, the pulpit, the pastor, and the prior. This poem wonders if you put out. This poem decides you do. This is called Easter Vacations. It's about Easter vacations. It's really cryptic. Alright, Easter Vacations. Aunt Sarah is whipping the girl again. Lashes given through the withholding. The withholding held because the girl is not hers for the punishment. The girl, Mousy Small, is backed in with a blood-curled stomach and skin welting in confusion and fear because Aunt Sarah is whipping this girl again with a hissing tongue in her constant church going. Silence on the throat sachets the switch, and my sister watches curiously while my tongue rolls back, lapping blood. When I am dried and tongue-tired, the truth breaks, like caramel from chocolate eggs. My sister nods and qualifies her appearance. Mousy Small and skin tight, my blood solidifies, then tars to fill what's been displaced. Alright, I'm gonna read one more, but this is called How We Understand Time. Morning and the sun does something precarious. I got in a fight today because the sun is a presumptuous bitch, Always the first to arrive and never calls ahead and drops in uninvited all the time. And she, still talking about the sun, rises, like anger in my body, like sex in the loins. She can't even be reasoned with, difficult like a petulant child. But mostly she's my friend who's always late, my alarm clock that won't go off, and there I am missing something. Me and my son, we're kind of like estranged siblings, distant cousins, only seeing each other on holidays. But once in a while we are the best of friends, the closest of lovers, having all those times, having all those good, soft, never want to forget, late nights that turn into all-night breakfast place mornings. Yes, my son smells of fried eggs and hot oil, except when she's that everyday exotic, smelling like ivory, like cold metal, that power smell. My son has a money fragrance, gold lace, but after winter she reeks, smelling better than old books, that musty, make you colicky smell. After you smell how good my son goes down, your nose will burn like you just came off a line. Because like rubber, she burns, melts, and disfigures. She's like blood off a dog fight, can't back down. Asks you to place your bets because my son is fresh, gets lippy. Oh, she's as fresh as puddles on a soccer field. That deep sweat smell, a body leaking. Sunset. So willing to accept defeat, she lets her breast sag. This sun is not mine. Except sometimes we have dusky dinners on rooftops and remember when we used to be good together. Sometimes she's all about loving on you, and other times you wake up and don't know how you got to be so alone. But really, she's a people pleaser. And too often, she's the kind that gets too drunk and says too much. Oh, this son is a handsy woman, isn't interested in protocol. Will steal your boyfriend, seduce your girlfriend. She is the indiscriminate lover. Legs of a black widow. But 4 times out of 7, she's the woman that you're too tired to go home to. Always waiting on the couch, lips pursed for a fight. She's a lover that's impossible to leave. But remember, my son is a street walker, the loosest of women. But when my son street walks, she does so in Prada. What a she-devil. Always a blue dress. And above all, that son of mine, she is a lady, a petite woman, mouthy. My son has beautiful features that sit big on her face, a smile you can't pry out from under. My son's got suitors and saboteurs, but not an inch of foresight. Ignores the enemy at the back gate. Because my son, she's all about those simple pleasures, wants gratification now. My son isn't afraid of burning out, doesn't care if she's glorified or vilified, calls herself James Dean. Just like the stars, she wants to burn fast and die young. Hates competition, shines weeks at a time just to make a point. Because my son, she don't understand her limitations, lives in pure victories, calls the moon her enemy even though they've been sleeping together for years. Clean, glow sex. Because my son thinks the moon to be faithful, calls him her fool. And though I see and hear no evil, I've got one hand at her throat and another at his buckle, because my moon can't get enough, sneaks in at night, lurks over my body and recognizes what is his. Low light moonlight. What do you think my moon smells like? Well, surely a puff mud, sour on the nostrils. Something we would probably call a musk. I bet he hits a nose like ice. The moon smell is an after rain smell. Makes you think of a baby being birthed. Simply funky. That's how good my moon smells. And so you see, my moon smells so good, I had to go and buy it in a bottle at Macy's. The counter girl said its smell would draw me into the world, and while I don't know about that, this I know for sure. My moon is as clean as bleach, which someone I know thinks smells just like semen, that kind of sex smell. And as someone I know, whom I know intimately, but not like that, is a self-proclaimed bisexual the way Jesus was a self-proclaimed savior. So obviously he would know about the smell of things. But that isn't even the point. Because it turns out the moon smells just like it looks. Like a drying porcelain tub, an acne-clad kid, a neon crucifix. My moon has Samson hair with Rapunzel braid, shoulders of Atlas, a face that is both understated and hyperbolized. My moon suffers from a drastic jawline, is afflicted with masculinity. My moon begs me to climb up. His edges are soft as pearls. He's got waxy eyes that brim over and cool down into your crevices. My moon is so beautiful, you just uncross your legs. Thanks.